So 2 years ago, I was lost, but thanks to a fellow YouTuber, I've been found. Welcome back, everybody. Before we even get started, the first thing you all need to do is you need to like and you need to subscribe. I'll wait. Okay, thank you for that. Now you should share it. I'll wait. Thank you for that. So 2 years ago, we started Nevermore Guitars. Actually, a little bit over 2 years ago now. We started the same as luthiers did 40, 50 years ago, 30 years ago. We started crafting our guitars by hand. Take a piece of wood and we'd cut it out and we'd go from there. Even with that, there was a lot of learning that needed to take place. But we quickly realized a couple of things. We quickly realized that one, it's inefficient. Two, it takes forever, which I guess inefficient, taking forever, same thing, right? And that the quality could be better. So I went out and I bought a CNC machine. These CNCs can be pretty pricey, and for a while there, it felt like I just bought a big hunk of metal until I met a fellow YouTuber and just like all-around genius who helped me, helped our company. So in this video, there's gonna be a couple of interesting things. Number one, we're gonna finally get to unveil our Raven series guitar. And you'll get to learn about this YouTuber and experience his genius for yourselves. So let me give you some context. So again, it's been 2 years since we started this company, and one thing that remained constant for us was, this is great that we're doing guitars, but we felt like a lot of these guitars were just too similar to the big guys out there. You know, Gibson, Fender, and when you're doing almost like replications of somebody else's guitar, it's not fun. So we set out, we were determined to make our own unique, our own original guitar that would be synonymous with Nevermore Guitars. So with that being said, we needed some help. It all started with me and my two partners getting together, and we started sketching designs. One of my partners, Adrian, which you all know if you listen to the podcast, if you have seen earlier videos that he appeared on, had this idea of doing a Raven style guitar. Obviously our name is Nevermore, Raven.
Quoth the Raven.
Yeah, you get it. We reached out to my brother, Eric, who's also one of our partners, who kind of helped spawn this whole idea really during the pandemic. We started kind of going back and forth and doing some sketches. Once the sketch was where we wanted it, we were like, yes, this is it. In my opinion, one of the things I loved about it is that it was a very Tim Burton-esque design. I'm a big fan of Tim Burton, but more importantly, it was a guitar that I felt I could totally play this guitar. That was the most important thing to me, was I wanted it to be a design that I wouldn't mind playing. So once the sketch was complete, we began building by hand prototypes, and those prototypes were good. It gave us a real good visual of what we were going for, but they just weren't cutting it. What happens is that when you are cutting guitars by hand, whether it be somebody else's design or your own, there is a level of mistakes. There's a level of inaccuracies that take place. And I am a true perfectionist, and I said, we cannot, in good conscience, sell this guitar with these mistakes. Hence the reason why we got the CNC. The problem was, I got this big hunk of metal and I had no idea how to make it work. Oh, come on, man. Sound like Joe Biden. Okay. November of 2020, we got this CNC. I dove right into the software, dove right into the programming, trying to understand how to get this to work. Dude, are you serious? So immediately diving into that software, it was complete gibberish. It was like learning a brand new language. I was lost. I almost started fires on the CNC a couple of times. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was willing to learn. And so I have spent so much time. If any of you have ever heard about, if you spend 10,000 hours doing something, you master it, well, I'm pretty close to those 10,000 hours. No, not really, but I've spent a lot of time. As you all know, this is my full-time job now. So I have spent over a year, well over a year, learning, crafting, perfecting, mastering what we are doing. But I needed help, and that's where Austin Shaner comes in. I need you to take note, and I need you to say, after I'm done watching this video, I am going to subscribe to Austin Shaner's channel. I'm gonna put a link to his channel in the description. It's a must, it's a must. Whether you build guitars or you're just interested in guitars, his channel is amazing. So Austin and I met in a group online. I decided to, on a whim, I saw that he was posting some great things and he really knew what he was doing, and I messaged him and I said, look, we could really use your help. I hadn't reached out to anybody before, but even though I still had a feeling he was gonna say, nah, I'm good. But no, you know, granted he took a couple of days to respond, but he was more than willing to help. And that's where the learning really started. He actually took that sketch and designed it within the software that we use, which if you're wondering, that's called Fusion 360. He worked on the first couple of iterations of it. We went from the guitar body itself to the guitar neck, and then we decided to go from an angled neck to a flat neck just because it made more sense, and that gets real technical. But he was there all along the way. He really helped us in a way I am so grateful and thankful for. But along with doing a big chunk of the design, he made a point to help me learn for future reference, so that way I'm not reliant and dependent on just, hey, can you do this for me? And so with that, I spent probably the better part of a year or more learning that program, learning how to make that program communicate with the machinery, and then actually learning how to make it happen. So this video is not going to be just me talking about how I learned it and what I'm doing and all that. This video is going to be me showing you, for the most part, if I showed you everything like Austin does, which he's amazing at, he really is very detailed in his videos. I'm going to show you all our process for making our Raven series guitar. And at the end, we're going to unveil our Raven series guitar, which will be for sale to you all. On that note, just a couple of things to consider. There's this myth about CNC machinery and companies using a CNC versus handmade. If you are not a guitar builder, if you are not educated on the process itself, just because you have a machine helping you out does not mean it is not handmade. The machine portion of the guitar building is just a small percentage. Most of the actual guitar building is by hand. The advantages of the machine is you can make more and the quality is much higher. Another bonus is that you don't have to worry about the risk of somebody being injured from being so up close and personal with some of these tools, because some of these tools can be dangerous when you are doing the cutout portion by hand. First, don't forget, make that note to subscribe to Austin's channel. And here is the process. Well, a big chunk of it. As part of our work with Austin, we have agreed to give him one of our Raven guitars. These hunks of wood are gonna be Austin's guitar. So one thing you didn't see because I had already done it, we get our wood from a local lumber supplier. And so when we get the wood, it's raw. It's straight from the tree. So before I actually use the jointer to put those two pieces together, I plane it to a specific size for our guitars. Now I'm gonna do this kind of in reverse. While we wait for Austin's guitar body to cure, which is a minimum of 24 hours, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the guitar neck. Whether you do it by hand or have the help of a machine, it's one of the most difficult, by far, things to do when it comes to building a guitar. We had several iterations of our guitar neck, and we finally agreed to make it a flat neck. We have our own unique headstock design, very similar to what you would see on a Fender guitar. Fender guitars have that flat headstock. Gibson guitars, however, have the angled headstock. And me personally, having done both, I like the flat neck so much better. It looks so much cooler. Some of the processes of the neck, that stuff I did beforehand. I'll spare you having to watch that. So one of the hardest parts, and something that Austin really did a great job in helping me learn, is setting up the engineered file to communicate with the machine. It's a ton of trial and error, and Austin, being that he lives in a different city, in a different state, it's not like he could be here to help me adjust and go through that trial and error process. However, I had to bug him quite a bit for tips and tricks and troubleshooting. I've always said that my years in grad school was the most difficult time in my life in terms of just using brain power. This is definitely a number 2 to that. Even when you think you've got it and everything's going smooth, something comes up that you've got to fix, that you've got to adjust. When you do get it and things are working right, it's beautiful. This machine makes it seem easy. This does not show the countless hours, days, weeks, months that have been put into making the machine do that. I could have never done it without, well, my son, who I haven't really spoken a whole lot about. My son has sat here side by side with me. He's younger, so he's very tech savvy, helping me to kind of see things that perhaps I'm not seeing. But we have spent more time than you can imagine making the machine do what it is doing. That process has allowed us to really grasp and wrap our heads around what we're doing. Without my son, without Austin, I'd probably still be pulling my hair out, which this right here is a direct result of me pulling my hair out. This is what building guitars has done to me. ripcord is on, the truss rod is in, the neck is just glued up and waiting to cure. That should be about a minimum of 24 hours. But now we have Austin's body blank ready for cutting. This hunk of wood will become Austin's Raven body. Check it out. So as you saw the bevels being cut out on the guitar, those are actually what we call relief cuts. It's supposed to be the setup to smooth it and round it out like typical bevels that you see on a guitar. However, being that this is our Raven series, we kind of liked the way it looked without being smoothed out. So we kind of kept it. So after so much blood, sweat, and tears, and just, you don't even know. Here it is. This is our Raven guitar, a guitar that is unique to, and I keep banging it everywhere. Sorry, Austin. Unique to Nevermore guitars. This is our own design, original through and through. You're looking at an alder body. This color is very unique because we do a certain process that I didn't really show, but here it is. And the most important thing is, let's see how it sounds. I'm just gonna randomly riff, and then I'm gonna grab a couple of guitars and just let's see how they sound side by side. So here is our Nevermore Raven guitar. Can't believe I remembered how to play that. Should state that I am playing all of these in the low pickup position. Alright, so there you go. That was my comparison between a ESP 7 string and our Nevermore Raven guitar. So personally, I love them both. I want to be partial, obviously, to the guitar that we worked so hard on, but I can't because there's so many good guitars out there. ESP makes undeniably one of the best guitars. Schecter makes amazing guitars. Gibson, I'm not a fan of Fender, but they're still amazing guitars. My goal was never to be better than our competitors. It was always to be able to say that, hey, our guitar is comparable. And personally, I think we are even more up there with them than I ever imagined that we would be. Aesthetically, there's some really cool things that we have on our guitar that you just don't see on others. It sounds great. If I were to compare the two right out the gate, I feel like our Raven is actually a little bit clearer than the ESP. However, the ESP has a thickness to it that I just love. I wanted a guitar that I could play and just love playing. I could perform live with it and just have a guitar that fits me, that suits my need and my purpose. And I think we achieved that. I would take this guitar everywhere and play it, and not only performing but recording wise, I would totally record a song, an album, whatever with this guitar. I am extremely happy with how it came out. Could not have done it without the help of Austin. Could not have done it without the creative minds with my business partners. Having this guitar, having built this guitar is truly a dream come true. And all of our hard work has paid off. And hopefully you all agree and like it as well. We will be having these guitars going up for sale very soon. If they're not on sale already, I don't know when this video is coming out. So look for the Raven series guitar. We're going to have a variety of colors, but they're all going to be the same in terms of the accessories. So let's talk a little bit about the accessories. All of these will come with locking tuners. All of these will come with what it is called a butler. If you're not familiar with a butler, it's this system that's on the guitar. It actually looks cool and gives it kind of, it adds to the aesthetic. And what that does is we've decided we wanted to make it standard in all of our guitars. It makes the strings go straighter into the nut at the top, which is supposed to make your strings stay in tune for much longer. So that, in combination with the locking tuners, is a pretty cool combination that means that you won't have to be tuning all the time. One of the other cool things that I like is that Eric had this great idea, and he started doing it on some of our earlier guitars. He put these, I don't know what you call them. I always call them nails. It just gives this really cool aesthetic to the sides of the guitar, which is usually not paid much attention to. They kind of look like buttons. They go all around the guitar and it just looks really cool. Our guitars are fitted with EMG, specifically James Hetfield pickups, plus EMG knobs. And then our bevels, we started doing this really cool thing that I've never seen on any other guitar. Instead of doing our bevels smooth, we figured it's a Raven, right? So, you know, these horns that are in the guitar kind of represent almost like a beak in a weird way. You can wrap your head around that. But the bevels kind of have these grooves in them that, to me, in my mind, it was like, it kind of represents the lines in a bird's feathers. I think it's pretty cool. It just really, to me, adds to the aesthetic. Again, I was doing this on the guitar to prep the guitar to be sanded smooth, and Adrian was like, no, wait, keep it that way. That looks amazing. And I agree. It looks really, really cool. The back of the guitar we've gone old school, and we brand our guitars. Check this out. So we brand them with our Nevermore logo. And I guess the last thing we can talk about is the fact that it's a bolt-on. We wavered back and forth between, do we do a bolt-on, do we do a glue-on, do we do a one-piece? And we wanted to make sure that we cater to like the touring musician, the constantly in the studio musician. I myself have broken a guitar neck. And if it's a glue-on or if it's a neck through, for example, you're stuck. That's it. Your whole guitar is pretty much ruined. Unless you can get an amazing luthier to fix it, it's ruined. And we wanted to cater to those who put their guitars through the mill, and to be able to say, you know what, if I break the neck, I can always just simply replace the neck. Simple. So even though this has been a very long journey, I feel like the journey is just beginning. But hopefully you all see this guitar and think it's as cool as we do. I personally love it. I hope you all love it. Austin, can't thank you enough. Everybody that has pitched in and helped out in one way or another, I cannot thank you all enough. My son, my wife, my partners, Adrian, Eric, some people that, you know, were very supportive of us. There's so many of you. Just thank you. I'm so glad this is coming to fruition. For the rest of you who are wanting to get your hands on this, if it's not for sale now, it should be for sale soon. I'm sure we'll put up our commercial and make our announcement, so I really don't think it is right now, but just in case, it might be. Go to our website, Does anybody say that anymore? I always say that. NevermoreGuitars.com. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. Go give us a follow on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you, or you'll see me next time. Bye.